What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. In this video, we're going to be looking at the initial fights for the brand new KIZUNA Clash versus Cat, Viper, and DOGSTORM. So what you're going to see in this video is going to be two different teams for each of the variations, not using any of the new booster characters such as the Rare Recruit Jack or the Sparrow. I will be uploading a secondary video right after this, which is going to be a one team versus all, but it's going to be two different one team versus alls, utilizing some different characters on each team. So if you guys are looking forward to something like that, it will be using Sparrow as a friend captain. Definitely stay tuned to the channel for that. So these teams you're seeing in this video are going to be relatively similar to the teams you saw in my preparation video, talking about different units you could be using in each variation to help you get through it. I will say that 6+ Super Type Kid is going to be a phenomenal character in this quest, mainly due to his level limit break captain effect, which has the ability that is able to remove Rainbow Shield when he taps with a bomb or a super bomb slot, and the special ability providing obviously the huge attack boost, but also the ability to remove damage threshold. The rest of the characters on this team are really nice. Obviously, you need to have some type of damage reduction effect or a resilient effect to tank the hit on stage 2, which is why we have Barto Cavendish, Sparrow for multiple turns of orb block and also color affinity, Zora for a really great orb boost, and then also we have the Blackbeard, which gives us a defense down conditional boost. Blackbeard's also going to be a very key character in this KIZUNA overall. So without further ado, let's move on to the next fight. The next team is going to be the second variation of the quick fight that we have, and this one is going to be using Kara and Wanda as a friend captain. Now, I do believe on the last stage, after level 31, you will be hit with special reverse. So, Kara and Wanda just innately get rid of that, not only with using their special on the last stage, but their captain ability states that when you reach the last stage, you will actually remove or just get -2 cooldown, which is pretty wicked. Now, the character that we're using in order to deal with the death hit on stage 2 is Raid Barto. Now, I'm actually not removing the increased damage taken, so I was a bit concerned, wondering whether Barto had the ability to actually tank the hit. But he did a lot better than what I was expecting. He absolutely demolished it. So Raid Barto is a solid option if you do need a character to tank that death hit. Despite the fact he doesn't really do a whole lot for the squad, if you really need a character to tank that death hit, Barto will be your guy, as he is free to play. Then there's also Gyukimaru, which is completely replaceable with any unit that allows you to remove the threshold that occurs on the last stage. Law provides a fantastic attack boost and increased damage taken, and of course on the final stage we can use a second Kara and Wanda for a phenomenal orb boost, but also setting the enemy's defense to 0, which is going to be very important when we get to post level 31. So this is definitely not as enticing as the first team for sure, but if you just need ideas for units that can help you, these are some options that you could potentially use. Now we get to move on to the second variation, which is versus the Strength Boss, and this is going to be my first team comp versus it, and it's actually a really good team. This is going to do a lot of damage for a very extended period of time. We do now have full confirmation that the skulls to Super Evolve Luffy are available in this KIZUNA, so if you have been keeping track of how many skulls you have, at the end of the KIZUNA you should have 6 total. So this means you can actually Super Evolve Luffy here, so it's going to be awesome if you want to be using Luffy in this KIZUNA. You actually will be able to Super Evolve him and use him in the event, which is just so cool. We also do have some other key players on the squad. We've got some really interesting supports. The key one on Robin being the Crocodile, which removes the chain reduction, as well as giving us a chain boundary, which just helps us get around that chain debuff on that second stage. But also the chain boost from Luffy's super type deals with the special reverse. We will have to deal with special reverse again, I believe, on the final stage. No, I'm incorrect. There is no special reverse on the final stage. But there is going to be another chain debuff, which is why we also have Boa Hancock, and she also removes special binds. She's really good. You need to have some type of unit that can do a health cut, as you will have to deal with the enemy barrier. If you actually do a health cutting special against the enemy, he removes all of his barrier. So if you're wondering why that is there, use a health cut special. He actually removes it by himself. In this case here, you can use the Super Tandem Shanks, which I'm using for big color affinity, but also you could use Robin, the New Year's Robin, not only getting an awesome conditional boost, but also does a health cutting special. And then we have Hina just to provide an orb boost. So of course this team is very legend heavy, but there are definite replacements across the board. I do feel like that Croc support on Robin is such a huge asset to the squad though. Moving on to the second team variation, and I absolutely love using this combination together of 6++ Uta, I guess the quick super evolution of Uta, as well as Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo running that quick shooter cerebral squad. Now, the Beppo on this team is actually the key player, that with the support of Jinbei. The Jinbei support, while it is kind of cool being able to lock your tandem slots on your free spirit characters, the big thing is that Jinbei support also removes chain reduction by 1 turn, which means that we get 2 turns of it on stage 2. By the time we reach the final stage, the chain reduction is completely removed, meaning that Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo's chain boundary that we can use on stage 2, carrying it into stage 3, is going to work perfectly. Then we've also got the Nami, which provides us with a defense down conditional boost and also gives us a color affinity boost. And then Ben Beckman, Lucky Roo, obviously just for the chain boundary. Uta gives us the attack and orb boosting effect. And, you know, Magellan is basically here because he's a health cutting special. Like, I really didn't have a good replacement in that spot. But of course, it's relatively flexible. Karasu is basically here just for special bind removal. So, as I said, there are a lot of flex spots here. But the Beppo and the Jinbei works very, very good under these 2 captains for this squad to get around a lot of the gimmicks here. This is a really fun team. Any opportunity I get a chance to use Beckman Lucky Roo with Uta combinations is just always a blast. So this is a perfect time to use it if you want to be so inclined. Now we get to move on to the final variation, which is versus Int. This is definitely the most tricky one in terms of team building, at least in my personal opinion. Definitely took me a long time to figure out teams that would actually work. And we'll talk about the last team, because the last team definitely has some issues, so we'll talk about it when we get to it. But the thing is on stage 2, you get given random slots. I say random, they are set slots, but it's just an odd decision for them to do. So half the team gets rainbow, half the team gets tandem slots. It gets block slots, which is very bizarre. However, the thing is, they do not change tandem slots. So if you're able to secure tandem slots before reaching this stage, you can just have them, and making sure that you have slots that are unchangeable by the opponent is going to be a very, very key thing to note when we move into the last stage, because the enemy will do some really, really annoying shenanigans of changing your slots around, and it's just not really a fun time at all. So being able to lock these slots into the last stage is going to be kind of awesome for us. We do have the Roger for the attack boost, obviously double Nami, so we can use one on stage 2 to get rid of the rainbow shield, but also give all the awesome benefits of Nami. And then we can use the second one on the last stage because there's another hit of rainbow shield, which is just super annoying. I don't remember if I remembered to put it on the team, but you could use Brûlé on Nami, so you have to do a special reverse post level 31. The Frankie is a KIZUNA rare recruit, so I know not a lot of people are going to have him, so having a cooldown reduction support on Nami is probably going to be very useful if you don't have your own version of that. But the thing is, there is the special bind and special reverse that initially occurs, so it's really annoying. Frankie just helps you deal with that, and the rest of the specials here just enable you to get through the stage pretty efficiently. Now we move on to the last stage. Now this one, there was a bit of an oversight, is in the fact that I thought that I had dealt with everything. However, I forgot about the fact that the enemy actually makes int slots not beneficial to the crew, because my whole plan is to get the full board of int, and Brook on this team has a crewmate ability that makes int slots beneficial, but I forgot to use a special, or have a special on the crew that actually makes those slots like beneficial, so I don't actually have to deal with the negative non-beneficial effect on the last stage. So that's why I don't order my specials in a certain way, so that, you know, you on this team you can get Luffy to launch 3 times in one turn, but because on the 3rd activation he changes slots around, then the enemy will react to that, changing them back to int, which means I have a full board of badly matching slots. Yeah, I basically screwed up massively, but the team is supposed to work in this way. We have Frankie, so we can get the defense down on the last stage. Brook gets rid of the rainbow shield on this stage, and then basically we use everything else on the final stage. But the orb situation was a little bit of an oversight. Anyways, we'll be back with another video talking about one team versus all, and there will be 2 different one team versus alls in the next video, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Really hope you guys enjoyed the video today, and if you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, and that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.